Jurgen, one last point on this. I was wondering if you would ever do what Pep Guardiola did at the end of the game with Jack Grealish.
You know, that's grown over the years. And if you then have a bit of an emotional go at something that you want to tell a player right away because you don't want to forget it later on, or you don't want to kind of play it down later on, you do it out. You do it right there on the field, and you carry it out. And if the relationship is a positive one, which I really believe it is, because otherwise he wouldn't do it, so clearly out there in public, then he's okay with that. He's okay with that. You know, whatever the topic was, whatever they had to discuss, I think it's all right as long as both of them, they respect each other and they talk it out. Why not?
Just to put that quote into context, I do it for the cameras, my ego. It was obviously tongue-in-cheek. When he was asked about it ahead of the game this week, and he said, "Oh no, I want to make everything about me. It's all about my ego. It's all about me being in front of the cameras." Obviously, he didn't mean it, but that was the way he kind of retorted to the journalists.
I don't know this. I personally think that's the kind of thing he would do in the training ground.
Right.
I think he would, when there's no cameras. I think if he see, because the one thing this guy has done at every club he's been at, he set standards for the way they play. Right. The standard, the bar for players coming in or staying in the team is up there. And that's not just what you see in a weekend or a midweek. That's set. That tone is always set in pre-season all the way through at training. And I think what we saw there is something he would be doing in training as well, when he's seen things that he doesn't like.
But does he need to do it so publicly? Could he not have done it down the tunnel in the dressing room?
We have to understand, in this very woke period we're in, where everybody gets upset with the merest and slightest little thing. In fact, a lot of people in this life, they wake up in the morning and they're looking to be offended. This is grown men we're talking about in the men's game, right? This is one of the best coaches that has ever graced the game. That's fact, right? He doesn't get to where he's got by doing stuff that the players don't accept. And so this is nothing more than, I think, and it's only my opinion, that people saying, this is for the cameras, this is for this. I think this is the type of thing that Guardiola and the best coaches are doing day in, day out in the training ground when they're not seeing what they want. The fact that it was on the field and there's a camera there, I think it was very spur of the moment.
To that point, this is exactly the type of thing that happens on the training ground, or to your point, you would wait till you get back to your dressing room before you have that conversation. But this isn't entirely new to Pep Guardiola. Yeah. I remember Joshua Kimmich, when he was just coming through at Bayern Munich, Guardiola having just as animated a conversation with him on the park immediately after a game. And he said almost word for word what Jurgen was just saying is, because I love the kid and I think highly of him. And it was all dependent on how Joshua Kimmich received it. And now Joshua Kimmich went on to become one of the best midfielders on the planet. So you don't discount that interaction that I believe that Pep Guardiola had, or the interaction. Similarly, what comes of this is what Jack Grealish makes of it. He takes it as it was meant, and if that relationship between Grealish and Guardiola is as strong as Jurgen is suggesting, I think Grealish is the better player for it. But this is outside of the norm, particularly in English football, but not for
Grealish has already accepted this year that he has dipped below the standards. And
so how will this help him raise those standards, being embarrassed in front of...
He's not embarrassed. It's not embarrassing. It's not embarrassing. The manager, he did something on the field that his manager wanted him to do differently, right? But Doku's come in and Grealish had injuries at the start of this. Look, we all know Jack Grealish had a very good summer. He enjoyed himself. He partied. Then he had the injuries. Then he's had a stop-start season. This guy is, and we've heard him interviewed, is one of the most down-to-earth Grealish that is, guys that he understands. It is not a problem. And if you think a player is going to go away and sulk at a club like Man City over something like this, you're going to be mistaken, because all Grealish is thinking about is, how can I get in this team regular to play for the rest of the season and possibly win the Champions League again, because that could happen? How do I get in the team? And it's not sulking because the manager calls you out. Right. It's just by playing better and training harder, and that's what we'll see.
Manchester City, despite that drop-off this season, could still once again do the treble, couldn't they, in the Champions League, Premier League and the FA Cup as well. Their semi-final will be live on ESPN Plus as they take on Chelsea. What a game that'll be at Wembley. Now, that game is live at 12:15 Eastern, and then 24 hours later, Craig will be in his full Coventry kit as they take on Manchester United.